Good morning to all the participants. Good morning to everyone out there. Can I have a good morning from all of you? Can you
Morning, sir.
unmute and roar? Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Oh, great. That's great. That's great. So I could see that you are hearing me and I could hear you. Great job. Thank you so much. Thank you
Good
for
morning,
being
sir.
here on this program. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm really feeling very excited, very honored, and very much blessed. Very much blessed. Oh my God. Today, I'm being connected with PSG Group of institutions, the pride of Tamil Nadu, the pride of India. Oh my God, anyone there to be associated with this great institution must be highly blessed, highly blessed. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this beautiful blessing. When one teaches, many learn communication skills for teaching success. For success, teaching or teaching success. You don't know. It's not for teaching somebody how to be successful. It's not teaching about success. It is for becoming successful in teaching. So it's rather communication skills for success in teaching. Okay, that's what. And welcome. This program is being organized by the College of Food Processing, right? Food Processing Technology, and supported by PSG Care. Thank you, PSG Care. You really care for the development of faculty. It's a faculty development program. Thank you very much. And as a part of it's happening as a part of the PSGCAS Platinum Jubilee Celebration. Oh my God. How many institutions in the country can really do that? 75 years already. Platinum Jubilee celebrations. Of course, this PSG group, even before that, right? Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's get going. Let's get going. 65%. You know what is the number? That is, the research has shown that the percentage, the one factor that contributes 65%, or rather 65% of divorces that happen are due to lack of communication between the couples. Oh my God, look at that, 65%, the number one factor. The next is inability. At 43% is inability to resolve the conflicts. The number one factor is lack of communication between the couple, between the couples. That leads to such communication. My God, that's such an important thing. Look at that. We are going to be working on that. We're going to be working on that. So today, the title is When One Teaches, Many Learn. Communication skills for teaching success. I was going through the brochure of this particular training program, and this particular diagram caught my attention, and I was appreciating. Oh my God, look at that. This is a cycle. This is a continuous cycle. It's given as a cycle. There's no end for this. It's a continuous process, right? It's a cycle. And here you see education. And at the same time, there is learning. There's someone who teaches, someone who learns. And the teacher also learns. There's an education. And the educator also learns. And it is in that. And in order to become a great teacher, a great faculty, how do you design? How do you plan for your classes? And how do you deliver your classes? And how do you assess yourself and your students, which is very important. You should be upgrading your skills. I'm sure this program is going to give you a lot of benefit for that. And becoming a professional. You are a teaching professional. So to become more professional, to become a better professional, a better teaching professional. And how do you maintain and manage your classroom? The moment you enter the classroom, the moment you come out of it, even before entering and after coming out, how do you manage the classroom? And in today's world, tech savvy, you have to be tech savvy. The world has changed. I'm not in Coimbatore. I'm right now in Pune city. I'm in Pune, and you are there. You are there in Coimbatore. And our Rajnish Kumar Mishra is in Chhattisgarh. And we have some people from Kerala. We have one person from Amrita Vidyapeetham, and we have one person from Madurai Tyagaraja Institute, right? And yes. So we are getting connected. And due to this pandemic situation, you ought to be tech savvy, you have to be tech conversant, and you have to be good at it. Not only tech savvy, you have to be good at it. Good at it. How to deliver the classes online. How to learn even in the as a teacher also now you have to know some learning skills as well as teaching skills and being connected and communicating through technologies. And it's a continual process. There is no end to it. It's a continuous process. Learning is a lifelong process. It begins with or maybe begins before birth itself. When we are in the womb of our mother, our learning begins. The way Abhimanyu did, right? So our learning begins from there and it ends only in the last day of our life. It's a lifelong process. Lifelong process. Thank you very much. I was really appreciating Sindhu ma'am, Selvi ma'am, and the organizers for bringing this picture onto the front page of your workshop. I congratulate you and I appreciate you for that. This spells a lot. This is the essence of the whole thing. Thank you very much. A couple of questions before we move forward. Would you like to enjoy greater success in your career and lead a happy life? You say yes, you can kindly write, or you can unmute and say yes, or you want to write yes or no in the chat box. I want to say, chat box, please be active in the chat box. It's a learning process. Thank you. Thank you very much, Rajneesh Kumar ji, Hariharan ji, very good. Nancy, Thomas, and Saranya. Fantastic. Nivedita, Srita, Anu, Kokila, ma'am. Thank you very much. Fantastic. And do you think communication skills are important for teaching success? For success in teaching, to become a great teacher, do you think communication skills are important? Yes or yes? Of course, yes. Of course, yes. Of course, yes. So let's make a small declaration. We all make a small declaration. If you want, you can unmute and thereafter mute yourself, or you need not unmute. You can just stretch your hand and let's make this declaration. Right in the beginning of the day. I want to lead a successful career. Can I hear some voices? I want to lead a successful career.
I want to lead a successful career.
I would like to become a great faculty.
I would like to become a great
faculty.
Fantastic. I want to learn to improve my communication skills and enjoy greater success in my life.
I want to learn to improve my communication skills and enjoy great success in my life.
Fantastic. You are awesome. You are awesome and you are a great teacher. The main objective of this morning session is to interact with you and discuss with you on communication skills for teacher success. Would that be of value to you? What is this one teacher's many learn? Of course, when one teacher enters the classroom, when the teacher is teaching and many students are learning. I don't know. That's when somebody says there is also another thing, there's also another quote, when one teaches to learn. When one teaches one to learn. Is it possible? It's possible and it happens. And that there's one person learning. Who is the other person learning? The teacher himself. Absolutely. Dr. Karthikeyani, thank you so much. The teacher himself. In fact, the teacher learns earlier than the student. Because when the teacher speaks, the words fall on teachers' ears first before they fall on the students' ears. Right? And when you're speaking, when I'm speaking, now I'm hearing me as well. So when one teaches to learn, but actually in your case, not just to learn, when one teaches, many learn. When one teacher teaches, many learn. And what kind of impact? What is this impact? In fact, I want to give credit to Sindhu ma'am and Selvi ma'am for giving me this title. This is not there. Otherwise, generally, my title is Communication Skills for Success. But this, this is like when one teaches, many learn. Then I wanted to correlate it. I want to correlate it so that we all understand the impact of this. Thing, Tell me, what are you seeing here? Are you seeing just seeds or something else? You can unmute and answer, or you can write in the chat box. But please be active, be active, be participative, be participative. Wow, Ram Praveen Kumar ji writes here, the future trees, the future plants, Purna ma'am, right? Dr. K. Purna writes here, future plants, future trees. Yes. What else? What else? What else? Fruits. Wow. Professor Dr. G. Hariharan ji writes here, the fruits. Fruits, is it? Okay, Dr. Purna could see the seeds coming out of the soil and becoming plants. And Dr. Praveen Kumar writes here, those plants are growing and becoming trees, and trees are having flowers. And Hariharanji sees those flowers becoming fruits. Absolutely. And Syed Ibrahim ji, there's not just two trees, there's a forest of trees. There's plenty of trees out there. There's a forest, huge forest out there. Okay, Dr. Kavita Ram, seeds when cared for become good plants, and handful of seeds. Forests ultimately, oh my God, Dr. Brunda and Kukilaji, thank you so much, everybody. Fantastic, absolutely. God has given us the power of visualization. These seeds are not just going to be seeds. When you plant a seed, look at that. When you plant a seed, you have a seed, right? When you plant the seed, these are tomato seeds. I'll just give you an example. Wow, Dr. Sweta Jayanakshmi ma'am writes here, food and nutrients. Looks like ma'am is from Department of Food Science and Technology. Absolutely, Sweta ma'am. Thank you. Absolutely. Food, nutrition, everything. Look at this. The seed multiplier effect. This is what I would like to call multiplier effect. How does it multiply? One seed, when you plant, from that one seed, one plant comes out. And that one plant grows to become a tree. And the tree and the plant will have flowers, many flowers, 80 to 100 flowers. And those flowers, for example, one seed of tomato, you have one plant. And one plant has about 50 fruits in its life cycle. And from each fruit, you have about 70 seeds. That means one tomato plant will give you 3,500 seeds. That means one seed has become 3,500 seeds. And if you have 1 hectare of tomato crop, you have about 980 million. That means 98 crore seeds. Oh my God, look at that. Look at this is again chili. I'm just giving an example of a crop. One seed of chili gives you a plant. From one plant, you have 800 fruits. And one fruit of chili will have about 70 seeds. And one chili plant that gives you 56,000 seeds. One seed giving you, multiplying it to 56,000. In 1 hectare, you have nearly 1.3 billion, but 130 crore seeds. That's what. When one teaches, many learn. That's what multiple. You reap multiples. You reap in multiples. Whatever we plant, you are planting the seeds of ideas as a teacher in the minds of students. You are planting the seeds of thoughts, of gyan, knowledge in the minds of your students, and that gets multiplied. That's get multiplied. The learning today and the learning leads to a lot of earning, a lot of learning, furthermore learning in future. So you reap in multiples. That's what, when one teaches, many learn. This, I would like to call this the multiplier effect. The second effect is a ripple effect. What is a ripple? You just drop something into the water, whether it's a water drop or you drop anything, into still waters, into still calm waters, you drop something. What happens? That leads to what is called a ripple. It leads to a ripple. So the drop is one drop that's falling here. It's one drop that's falling here. The ripple it creates, spreads and goes and hits the shores elsewhere. So this is whatever, you are working in that college, you are working in that school, and you are teaching there. That impact of the teaching is not going to be just there, in that college. The impact is far reaching. In fact, those students who pass out, those students whom you teach, they pass out, they become scientists, they become administrative officers, they become industrialists, they become teachers, they again become teachers, and then they will be going somewhere and they'll be teaching. So the second effect I'd like to call ripple effect. As a teacher, when you teach, many learn, leading to ripple effect. That means you impact through your teaching, far-reaching souls, which you do not even know, which you do not even see, but the impact that you're creating, the teaching that you're giving here, it has got far-reaching. So when one teaches, many learn. You agree with me? Yes or yes? You agree with me? So the first thing we talked about
Yes, sir.
multiple effect. Second thing is ripple effect. The third thing, thank you very much, thank you. The third thing is butterfly effect. The third and final effect that I want to relate, that's how I'm perceiving the impact of the teacher. Oh my God, it's phenomenal, phenomenal. God. I was born in a small village, Chinnalingayapalem, in Guntur district of Andhra Pradesh, in a small village, remote village. I went to my school, Jilla Parishad High School, Telugu medium, government school, till my 10th standard. I was studying in my school. I don't remember going to school with chappals till the 10th standard. I was born in a very, very, very poor family. My father used to have a small hat, a conical hat. Even that was washed away in one cyclone. And our neighbors allowed us to stay in one room of their house, free of cost, without any rent. That's how, my childhood was spent. I used to have two khaki knickers and two white shirts. Used to go to school. In our village where the annual fee of the class used to be 6th class 6 rupees, 10th class 10 rupees for the annual fee. That was the days, in 1975. I passed out of my school in 1975. So from that day today, where from there I went to Bapatla, from Bapatla I went to Delhi, from Delhi I went to Philippines. I was there in Philippines for 2.5 years doing my research on rice in different climatic zones in Philippines, in the farmers' fields in Philippines. Came back, worked in different parts of the country. So you see somewhere the journey. So, but now I'm going to share with you a journey, a story, a true story that happened over a period of 100 years. The story began in 1860s when in the United States the blacks were fighting for the equal rights, like led by Martin Luther King Jr. The blacks were fighting to have equal rights with the whites. And ultimately, the American government declared that blacks will have the rights equal to the whites. And this was not digested. This was not liked by some of the whites. So they formed some radical groups and radical wings, and they started kidnapping and killing the blacks. In that process, what happened? A black lady and her 3-week-old baby, a black lady and 3-week-old baby were kidnapped by a radical group. And that black lady was actually working as a maid servant in a white family of Moses Carver and Susan Carver. This is a white couple in whose home the black lady and her 3-week-old baby were there when they were kidnapped. And this white couple did not keep quiet. They were kind enough to go to the village head and request him to go and talk to the kidnappers, negotiate with them to release the lady and the baby boy. The kidnappers agreed to release the baby boy for an exchange of pony. And this couple was ready to forego their pony. They gave the pony, saved the baby. No one knew what happened to that lady thereafter, but the baby was saved, brought home, and given a name. The name was George Washington. And since Carvers raised him, he became George Washington Carver. Till schooling, he was totally supported by them, but thereafter, he moved to the town and cities, did his education, and finally went on to become a professor. Went on to become a professor at College of Agriculture, University of Alabama. And he was a passionate teacher, a great teacher. He used to work on peanut crop, and he developed so many recipes: peanut sauce, peanut ketchup, peanut butter, peanut cheese, peanut this, peanut that, several recipes of peanut. Maybe more than till that time, in America, peanut used to be a small crop, but now with all those recipes developed by George Carver, people started using more of peanut products, and then peanut acreages grew up, and peanut became a big crop in the US thereafter. Okay, but he was a passionate teacher. He loved teaching. He had a lot of love for agriculture, passion for agriculture. This man, and when he was just teaching, a student by name Henry Wallace came there to do his BSc agriculture. And while studying, he used to look up to his teacher. He was the role model. He was the best teacher for him. He was the most admired teacher for him. he looked at him. He also developed passion and love for agriculture. And then after coming out, he started a seed company called Hybrid Seeds, Pioneer Hybrid Seeds. The company spread over 130 countries, and he minted millions and billions of dollars. And then he entered politics, like Donald Trump of yesterday, who was a businessman, entered politics. Even Henry Wallace entered American politics and went on to become the vice president of the United States of America. But even after becoming the vice president of US, his love for agriculture did not die. Those days, maize and wheat are the two crops which were, badly impacted by biotic and abiotic stresses like drought and other things. So he wanted a special institute to be established, and he was ready to give all the funding from the US government, and he wanted someone to lead some dedicated scientists to lead that program. So he handpicked one scientist by name Norman Borlaug to lead that center. And Norman Borlaug there developed semi-dwarf wheat varieties. Those days in India, the Agriculture Council, the Indian Council of Agricultural Research was led by Dr. Mongambu Sambasivan Swaminathan, MS Swaminathan. He was leading Indian agricultural research at that time. So he came to know about these varieties developed by Ram Borlaug. He brought those varieties, arranged so many demonstrations in the wheat growing areas of Punjab, Haryana, and UP. And farmers, they loved it, because earlier in India, the farmers used to grow tall weeds, very tall weeds. With the slightest wind, the crop lodges. The vegetative growth is very big. The panicle length was very short. But after semi-dwarfs, the vegetative height growth is less. The panicle is much longer. And the Punjab farmers loved it. Shiploads of seeds were brought. From the US and Mexico to India and distributed to the farmers. And the farmers grew these in large acres. And India's wheat production went up by 3 to 5 fold. And India achieved what do you call it? Anyone? India achieved what? When the wheat production went up by 5 times, suddenly India became self-reliant in food production. And from a begging bowl, India achieved self-reliant status, and India achieved what we call green revolution. What do you say that? Can someone repeat what I said? Green revolution.
Green revolution.
Absolutely green revolution. But I wondered always. 100 years, this happened in 1960s. By the time, it happened 1960s. Had that time, that day, the white couple had not saved the baby called George Washington Carver, who went on to become a teacher, a passionate teacher. 100 years later, continents across, oceans apart, in place like India, whether, the Green Revolution would have been achieved. And Norman Borlaug was awarded for this great work. He was awarded Nobel Prize for Peace. He's the only agriculture scientist who won the Nobel Prize, and that is for peace, because there is no Nobel Prize for agriculture. So he won the Nobel Prize for peace. This is what I call, this is a book actually, the Butterfly Effect is the title of the book. In fact, I took this story from that book, Butterfly Effect. The butterflies, they flutter their wings here. They flutter their wings. When they flutter the wings, the vibrations of those wings go on there. They are felt elsewhere. Maybe they're ultrasound and or supersonic, I don't know what you call it, but you and I, we may not be able to hear. But when the butterfly flutters, the impact of that is felt elsewhere. So that's what is called, this teacher, he was teaching someone called Henry Wallace, but the impact happened several years later in a country like India. The impact of this work The impact of this work, it happened years later. This is what's called butterfly effect. You are teaching someone today. A farmer's son. You are teaching a farmer's son. The farmer's son is coming to your college, and you are teaching him, and he goes on to become a great doctor or a great scientist, or maybe he cracks civil services, and he goes on to become a civil servant, an IAS officer, an IPS officer, and he serves the society. But that day, he had a great teacher. He had a great teacher named Kokila. He had a great teacher named Brinda. She had a great teacher named Sweta. She had a great teacher named Kavita. Like this, these great teachers, those students whom you are teaching, you do not know the kind of impact, years and years later. This is what we call butterfly effect. When one teaches, many learn. Your actions reach out over space and over time. There's a temporal effect, there's a spatial effect. This butterfly, the effect is, it's over time and over space. So where you don't see the impact today, the impact could be years later, 10 years later, 50 years later, 100 years later, 100 years later. Pielamedu, Samanaidu, Govindaswamy Naidu established this institution several years before to educate the people, to serve the society through education. And today, how many thousands of people are enjoying the benefit? And this is continues to happening. So when one reaches, many learn. When you are teaching, your actions, the results of your actions, they reach out over space and over time. Agree with me? Yes or yes? Hello? Yes or yes? If you agree with me, please type yes in the chat box. Type yes. Okay. Great. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Skills for teaching success. Right? Communication skills. Especially generally, to be a great teacher, to be successful in teaching, what do you think are different soft skills required to become a great teacher? Soft skills. Can you write down what are the different soft skills, or any skills for them? I would like to leave it to not only soft skills, hard skills that are required by a teacher, to be possessed by a teacher to become a great teacher. What are they? Dr. K. Purna writes here, language skill. Thank you very much. Fantastic. Absolutely, you should have empathy. Kokila members, empathy. Looking at the situation from others' angle, others' perspective. Empathy. Putting in somebody's shoes, other shoes. Thank you, Kokila ma'am. Yes, and Ram Praveen Kumar ji writes here, communication skills, listening skills, and adaptability. Fantastic. Thank you. And Swarnalata ma'am writes here, communication skills and empathy. Fantastic. Professor G. Hariharan G writes here, interpersonal skills. Absolutely, of course. Thank you very much. And Jay Krishna Nambutri writes here, communication skills and passion. Wow. Smita Jayalakshmi ma'am writes here, patience, determination, and communication. Oh, that's great. Absolutely. And Kavita Ramu ji writes here, problem solving. Motivations. Anuradha ma'am writes here, motivation. Motivation. Of course, great teachers are inspirers. They motivate people. Kokila members, dedication, commitment, passion, listening, decision-making skills. Swarnalata ma'am adds, decision-making skills. Kalayavananji writes, work ethics. Ethical teachers ought to be ethical. Fantastic. Oh my God. Administrative skills as well. Kavita Ramu ma'am writes administrative skills as well. Please, everybody. I want everybody to please engage yourselves, And I want you to read. I want you to open the chat boxes and read. There are three people from whom we can learn every time we participate. There are three people, right? One is the resource person, the faculty. And the other is the other trainees, the other students along with you, those who are others. We can learn from others also. One is you learn from me and you learn from others. And the third person whom you have to learn in this program? Yourself. That's my objective. My objective of doing this, I'm more of a facilitator. I'll be giving you something, but you will learn much more from others and from yourself by participating in this program. So please participate actively, engage yourself actively, contribute. Okay, fantastic. Ratika ma'am, determination. Ambika ma'am, fantastic creative thinking. Kavita ji, heads on. My God, Kavita ma'am, thank you very much. Being independent. Independent. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Passion for teaching, adaptability, and communication. Poonam Sen. Poonam Senji. Dr. Poonam Senji, where are you from?
I'm basically from Bengal.
Ah, that's what you know by your name. Where are you presently in Coimbatore?
Yes, currently settled in Coimbatore.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much. Nice to see that
Uh,
you're there in this program. Great. Yes. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So many skills you have pointed out here. Yes, exactly, exactly. You're very right. Public speaking, leadership, conflict management, decision making, time management, stress management, interpersonal skills, and many more things that you have written here. I agree. They have to be versatile. They have to be flexible. Their attitude, such yeah, Dr. R. Such writes here. The attitude, Kavita ji writes here. Of course, adaptive, versatile. Kavita ji keeps on writing, emotionally intelligent. In fact, yesterday you had GD skills. Yesterday you had GD skills. Yesterday you had a session on emotional intelligence. Of course, very important. Today's scenario, this emotional intelligence is more important actually because people are having lack of control on their emotions. So you have to dealing with people means dealing with emotions. Dealing with people means dealing with emotions, right? So out of all these skills, communication skills is one thing. We don't have you may be working through already emotional intelligence, you work, and few more things you're working on. But today, right now, we're going to see communication skills. In the afternoon, we'll be working on team building skills, becoming a team player and working with the teams. That's the afternoon session. Okay, so in this particular next 1 or 2 hours, next 2 hours, we'll be working on help you appreciate the value of communication, make you conversant with the communication barriers, expose you to the realities of team communication, and help you with the tips, some special tips to improve communication skills. That's what we're going to do. So, what is communication? What is communication? Is listening or is speaking? Speaking, wow, wow. Somebody gives a great speech. Wow, what a great communication. He has got great communication skills. He is a great communicator. He is speaking. The only communication skill. Does communication skill include only speaking? Or any other ability to convey? Wow. Hey, fantastic. Thank you very much. Ability to convey, ability to communicate, able to convey your heart. What are the feelings you have when you're able to communicate to the other person in a way you want to communicate the message, the feelings. Okay. Oh, Brinda ma'am writes, no, speaking alone is not communication skill. A man who gives a great speech need not necessarily be a great communicator. Absolutely. Brinda ma'am, thank you. I agree with you. No, no, because speaking does not mean only, communication doesn't mean only speaking. It's much more than that. Much more than Ram Praveen Kumarji writes, imparting and exchanging of information by using some medium or the other. By speaking or using some other medium, by speaking or even other medium. That means you can communicate and exchange information through speaking, writing, and many, many other media. Absolutely. Interacting with others, medium to express. Yes, Ramamani Dharmaraj, exchange of ideas, exchange. That means there is some exchange happening. In communication, it's not one person giving, there is an exchange happening. So now there is an exchange happening between you and me and between among all of us. Among all of us, there's an exchange happening and you are contributing. You are contributing to the whole communication process here to know each other, share a country. Please keep reading the messages in the chat box. If you like some important points, immediately write it down in your notebook. Dr. G. Anuradhaji writes, sharing of ideas, messages, and information in such a way that recipient understands it. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, you said it, but the other person didn't understand the way you wanted him or her to understand. Then that's not the right communication. Exchange of information, friendly mood. Okay, great, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm learning. I'm learning from you. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. Please, I appreciate that. I honor your participation. Thank you. Thank you. Look at that. Look at that. It's a flow. It's a flow. Many of you mentioned it's an exchange. It's an exchange. Absolutely. There's an exchange happening between one to one or one to many. One to many or one to one or many to many. It happens like that. Okay. So exactly. You want to say something, or I want to say something. I mean to say something. I say that. I meant something. This is what I have to communicate. I meant in my mind, in my heart, I meant, oh, I have to communicate. And then finally, I said it. I don't know what I said is really what I meant. There could be some distortion here. There could be some gap here. But I said it. And you heard it. You heard it. Not sure whether you heard entirely what I said. But after hearing, you understood it. But did you understand it? Did you understand it in the way I wanted you to understand it? Not necessarily. And after you understood it, you meant to say something and you say something. And I hear, I understand, I mean to say, I say. So, in a fraction of a nanosecond, your supercomputer brain hears, understands, means, and then you say. It all happens, in a fraction of a nanosecond. It all happens. So it is not just somebody said, someone heard. There are again other factors here. You understand it based on your own background, your own capability. Whatever you heard, you might not have heard exactly what I said it. And after hearing, you understand it with your own background. And then you wanted to say something. And maybe you have the capability to say exactly what you meant, but you don't have the capability. You wanted to say something, but you could not say it. You could not express it in your words or in your actions. You could not show it. You wanted to say something, but you could say it. You could say it, or you might not have said it. So that's how it all happens. It's a continuous flow. It is not just someone said, someone heard. It's much more than that, much more than that, much more than that. When you are hearing me, already you have some background, you have some expectation, you have some feelings, you have some experience of your own. With all that experience of your own, with all that background of your own, you are hearing me now. And then you are exchanging, and we are exchanging here. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. So communication could be written or spoken words. You all know that sign. It could be not only written and spoken, it could be even through gestures, signs, body language, call it through gestures. You say that, you express it in, your eyes, your body, that's what signs and gestures from one person to another are many people. 70% of what we do from the time we get up in the morning till the time we go to bed, people say communication. So much we do at home, at college, as well as outside, on the road, wherever it is, with friends, with students, with other teachers, with parents, with HOD, with your principal, with admin staff, and oh my, so many people, with all these people every day, with your family members. Of course, and at different times. Okay, so we'll be looking at the speaking part, the writing part, the reading part. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I want to quickly take you through. Please bear with me. I will not spend much time, but I'll quickly take you through this so that we are having something on communication as well. So, okay. So spoken communication, it's very important. Generally, apparently, we use a lot of times in spoken communication. We speaking skills and spoken communication. Why? And why? We use it in different language, different times. These days we use a lot of telephone. We speak with people on telephone, on your mobile phone. Nowadays, due to pandemic, you cannot go and meet the person in person. You have to be using a lot of telephone. And how do you use the telephone? How do you take the call? How do you take the call from a known person? How do you take the call from an unknown person? How do you take the call? How do you greet? Do you smile when you're on the phone? Do you smile when you're speaking on the phone? Oh no, who sees? He's not seeing me. She's not seeing me. What face I have? Whether I have a smile on my face or not? Will she be able to see? Yes, she will be able to see. The other person will be able to see whether you're speaking with a smile or not. Yes, absolutely. So similarly, the presentation, you have to be presenting a lot. and then you have to be giving a lot of feedback. You have to take the feedback and you have to give the feedback, and you have to negotiate, you have to persuade the people, you have to convince the people, and you should be, you of course use a lot of body language, your gestures and all that, and listening. And you people wrote empathy a lot of times. You talked about empathy. A teacher having that empathy, that's again listening to students. As a teacher, we have a tendency, as a teacher generally, we have a tendency to speak, to teach. When you go to the class, you teach, you speak mostly, and as a you speak mostly, and the students listen. But can you also listen? Can you create the opportunities to listen? Can you create the opportunities for others to speak so that you could listen? And listening is very important. And again, for gathering information, a lot of information, and again, for motivating and supporting, you use spoken communication a lot. So we said 70% is 70% is what we do every day's communication. Out of that, interestingly, 50% is body language, unspoken. You don't speak. But still you communicate. If you're speaking, you're communicating. If you're not speaking, you're communicating. If you're looking at somebody, you're communicating. If you're not looking at somebody, turning the other side, you're communicating. You're expressing something, communicating. You're looking down, you're communicating. Looking up, you're communicating. You're folding the hands, you're communicating. You're putting the hands behind, you're communicating. You're holding your head, you're communicating. You are communicating. Your body, entire part of your body communicates. Your body communicates. So please be careful about it. Okay. Can I go and give you some special tip?
Yes.
Yes? Is it okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Or you want me to close it and give these special tips to you after the lunch break? Anyone who unmutes and advises, we go by their suggestion.
You can proceed, sir. After lunch, we'll be feeling sleepy.
Great, then let's get going. How many participants are there, by the way, right now, Sindhu ma'am? How many participants are there?
Sir, we have around 73 participants, sir.
Not bad. That's good. That's a number. Okay, let's get going. Remember, not only you speak from your mouth, your entire body speaks. Your eyes speak. Your face speaks. Your hands speak. Yes, gestures. There's a body. That's why it's called body language. Everything. Your face is like a mirror. It reflects what's going on in your mind. So be careful. Be aware of it. Okay. The second thing is trust and cooperation. At home, or in the college, or in the classroom, what is the level of trust and cooperation? If the level of trust between you and your students is high, you and your family members is high, trust is high, and the cooperative attitude is high, it will become win-win. When the trust is low, the people become defensive. They try to find fault with others. They try to play the blame game when there is no trust. That's why it's important to have a high degree of trust and the attitude of cooperation, so that it will be a win-win, synergistic. There will be synergy and win-win proposition. Win-win. Trust begets trust. If you start trusting, people will become trustworthy sooner than later. Okay. So then the third thing is about responsibility to communicate. Communication with your family members, communication with your HOD, communication with your department, with your colleagues. It is not a work. It is a responsibility. You have to take, if you want to advance in your career, if you want to become more successful, you have to take communication as a responsibility. Communication with your parents. Maybe they are aged and they are somewhere in West Bengal, or they are somewhere in Jharkhand, or they are somewhere in Chhattisgarh, or they are somewhere in your native place, and you are there in Coimbatore. It's important to communicate with them. Give them a call. Say, hello, how are you? Is your health okay? How are you doing? I am with you. That kind of communication. And communication with your children. It's also a responsibility. Your children are studying in some college, in some town, somewhere. If they're grown up, and they are staying in the hostel, are they calling you? Are they communicating? They should. They should. But if they are not, at least you should. Their children, they have to learn from you. So please take responsibility. Sometimes it is a responsibility. जिम्मेदारी लेना है. Take responsibility. It's a responsibility. It is not a work. It is not a work. It is not a duty. It is not a duty. It's not some extra task given to you in the department or HOD. It is a responsibility you have to take and recognize and accept that there are differences in the way people think and behave. People think and behave. See, all the students are different. The students are different. The colleagues, you have colleagues from different places. They're all not the same. People are unique. They have unique backgrounds. They have unique experiences. They have unique feelings. They have unique way of looking at things. So when you are giving the communication, all the people do not take it in the same way. So please accept that. It is natural. It is natural. Recognize. So sometimes what you speak may be taken in a different way. So please recognize and accept that there are. You should be aware of this. If you're aware of this, accordingly you can modulate your communication. Your communication. Firstly, listen so as to understand. I'm myself a trainer, and you are teachers. We speak a lot. We talk a lot. We talk more than generally what we listen. But the important thing is listening. God also has given us, 2 years. He knows that at least we should listen twice than what we speak, because we have 2 years and 1 mouth. He knows God has given us 2 years, at least double. But there is a rule called 80-20 rule. 80-20 rule. If you listen, half of the problems will be solved. Even when the student comes up with a complaint, or your HOD is speaking, or your juniors are speaking, listen. The more you listen, the more powerful you become, not when you speak. So please listen and understand this. Generally, what we demand, you listen to me, you understand me, please try to understand me, please understand me. It is not understanding me. First, you must think that let me understand the other person before demanding that person to understand me. At home also, with your spouse also, please try to understand your spouse rather than demanding that you be understood. Okay, so you understand, and your spouse also will understand you. Okay, so the important thing is first understand. Okay, first understand. And again, there's a small video here, but since our time is since less, so maybe this video will skip. This is about the power of the words that you use, the choice of words is very important. The choice of the words you use, are very important. And another thing is reporting. Important. Always remember one thing. Your immediate supervisor, your HOD is your organization. You have to be in touch with you have to be communicating. And as a teacher, what are the different kinds of reports you have to submit? Maybe mark sheets after the exams, attendance records, project reports, syllabus completion status reports, student performance reports, research project proposals. You have to be submitting for the research written communication, maybe within the department, among the colleagues of your department, or inter-department communication. This is very important. All the reports, whatever it is, you should be submitting them in a timely manner. Don't wait to make it perfect. There is no end for perfection. Okay, there is no end for perfection. You can do any amount of work and still it will not be perfect. So if you have to submit by 9 p.m., you have to submit it by 9 p.m. You have to submit it by Saturday, you have to be submitting by Saturday. Timeliness is important. There's too much perfection. Submit it by Saturday, and later on, suppose you have modified, you send it to revise. Yesterday somebody sent me a PPT first, and later on today morning the same team said, sir, so please, here we are sending the revise. Yesterday before the time they sent, and today what did they do? They sent me a revised PPT. Good job. Timeliness is more important. So my question to you, will you submit your reports in your departments in a timely manner? Yes or yes? Hello? Yes or yes? Unmute and answer.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. And again, practice. Practice writing, practice speaking English also with the accent. You have to practice the accent. Okay, we usually, our mother tongue has influence on the accent that we adopt. So please, when you have to be speaking, in English. So practice writing, practice submitting the research proposals. Practice makes it perfect. So these are the things. Communication skills are very critical for success, and trust plus cooperation. These two pyramids are very important. Take responsibility to communicate, report, submit them in a timely manner, practice speaking, practice writing, and practice listening. Listening is an art. Kala, it's like a kala, art, yes, okay. When you listen, people would love to listen to you. And practice reading. These are certain things you have to practice. Practice makes a man perfect. So it's practice, and ultimately communicating with the self and communicating the universe. You're not only communicating with all these people, your family members, your relatives, your friends, your colleagues, your teachers, your students, your HODs, and along with all these people, knowingly or unknowingly, you are communicating with two more. Who are they? One is yourself. Yourself. You are speaking, you are thinking, you are talking, maybe sometimes loudly, maybe sometimes silently, but you are communicating. And also, you are communicating with the universe. You are coming, the universe is listening to you. Somebody this morning, who is that? Who is that? Kokila ma'am, somebody said, you wish for it, the universe gives it to you. So please be very careful. And what is the universe telling you? Are you listening? You are awesome. You are a great teacher. You are a life changer. You are wonderful. You are beautiful. You are powerful. You are awesome. You are you, one and only one, unique. What is the universe telling you? Are you listening? And are you talking to that person? That person. Sometimes take time. Take time to talk to that person. One person. That's you. Otherwise, you will be missing a wonderful person in your life. That person is a wonderful person. Please sometimes take time and talk to that person, that wonderful person, with a love and kindness, that great person in you. Talk to that person. So begin to pay attention to what increases your energy and what takes you away from it. It's important to always be positive. You are awesome. You have a great teacher in you. Come on, give me a hand and say, you are awesome, and tell your name. Tell your name. Once again, I am a great teacher. Everybody unmute. I want to see some noise. I want to have some noise here. Please unmute your microphones and say, I am a great teacher.
I'm a great teacher.
I'm a great
I am a great
teacher.
performer.
I'm a great performer.
I am a great
I'm a great
contributor.
I'm a
I
great
am a great
A
communicator.
great
communicator.
communicator.
And I'm a life changer.
I'm a life changer.
I am
I'm
a
a
life
life
changer.
changer.
So this morning we came here. One teaches, many learn communication skills for teaching success. That's the program that we have today. And so we have learned about three effects: multiplier effect, ripple effect, butterfly effect. That is what you are doing. You as a great teacher, you are teaching so many learning, and not only those people directly, indirectly, the effect is multiplying and it is reaching far and beyond. It is reaching far and beyond. And communication skills are very, very important, especially for success in teaching career. Okay, communication. If you're successful, your organization becomes more successful. Okay, that's very important. Communication skills can be improved. They're not by birth. They can be acquired. They can be improved on a daily basis. On a daily basis. Okay, today to begin is to speak in the public. Yes, you have to take it. Communication barriers exist. We have to be aware of it. And communication is the responsibility of every individual, everyone, and your responsibility as well. As well. Okay. And communicate with trust and cooperation. Observe your body language. Your words matter a lot. A lot. You are the role model. Every student is looking up to you. Everybody, your family is looking up to you. Your words matter a lot. Please be very careful about the choice of words. Remember, students are not all same. They're all different. Students are different. People are different. People are unique. So accordingly, your communication also has to be adjusted. Listening is the not a kala hai. It's a kala. It's not. Acha, okay, yes. And the other person should feel like telling you. Remember, 80% is listen more. This is an area where everyone, you and I, we all have to increase our listening capability, listening, nature of listening. Listen at home, listen in the college, you will become more powerful and most of the problems will be solved. And timely communication, appropriate language, sharing the information instead of holding it, asking the questions in the right way. That's it. That's it. This is the most important strength of the teachers. Asking questions. If you ask the right questions at the right time, that's it. You don't have to tell answers. We are in a telling mode, we're in answering mode. But the greatest teachers, what they do is they ask questions. They ignite that passion. They ignite that inner fire. They ask questions. Let the person start thinking. You will change the lives of your own children. You will change the lives of your students if you ask the right questions and use appropriate tools you are learning. And this program on pedagogy, tools and techniques will help you a lot and avoiding opportunities for miscommunication. Improve your communication skills, become a great teacher, put in excellence in your effort, and your success is guaranteed. Congratulations. We are coming to the end of this session, but a few questions before we go. Are you a winner?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are a winner.
Yes, sir.
Are you a champion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You are the God's best. God, that master craftsman, has created you the masterpiece. You are a masterpiece in creating you. That great master craftsman has not made any mistake. You are the best. You are the best teacher. Few more questions. Has this training session of this morning helped you gain some confidence?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you
Yes.
feeling motivated?
Yes.
Have you got some tips for improving your communication skills?
Definitely, yes, sir.
Fantastic. Will you apply this learning for your success?
Yes, sir. Yes.
For your organization success?
Sure, definitely, sir.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. What will you say about this morning session? Is it very good or excellent?
Excellent, sir.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you so much.